With Dr. Shahid Jameel, who's director at the Trivedi School of Biosciences at Ashoka University, who I spoke to earlier, and I began by asking him about what these concerns are about the clearance of this Covaxin somewhat hastily.
Efficacy data is not in. The safety, yes, the phase 3 part of the safety data is in. The phase 2 data is in for safety. But the efficacy data is not in. But I think more than that, it's really been a communication problem as far as I can see, because the guidelines were very clear as to what the drug controller and the subject expert committee would look at before giving approval. And they were supposed to be looking at safety and efficacy data. Now, if they have given emergency approval to a vaccine without any efficacy data, they should have very clearly come out and said why this was done.
Right.
But that was not done. I believe the announcement was made without any clarifications, without any questions. And that has actually created a situation where people don't know what to believe and what not to believe.
Right. Has this ever happened in your knowledge before, where a vaccine has been cleared without putting out the third phase effectiveness or efficacy data? Has it ever happened?
Yes, I believe it has happened in 2016 when Ebola was raging in Africa. And an adenovirus-based vaccine was made against Ebola, and there was really no time to do efficacy testing, and it was given and it worked and it controlled Ebola. So yes, there has been a precedence of something like this, but the situation here is a little different. The situation here is that already there is another vaccine for which there is sufficient stockpiles available, which can be given. As far as serum is concerned, they have come on record and said that we have, about 50 million doses available. And by the end of January, they'll have another 10 million available. Will India have the capacity to really vaccinate so many people by the end of January?
Right.
To really justify getting approval for another vaccine as a backup? And I don't really understand what this backup means. Tomorrow, if it is proven that the efficacy of this vaccine is, let's say, 30%, although I don't believe it will be, I believe that this vaccine will turn out to be efficacious,
Sure.
But we don't have evidence. But let's say, for argument's sake, this vaccine turns out to be not efficacious. What will you do to the people who have been vaccinated with this vaccine?
Right.
So there are many questions around this. The way in which it was presented is actually the problem. No one doubts the company. No one doubts their product. It's not a question of that. It's a question of evidence. See, science based on evidence is based on evidence.
Yes.
Science is not based on whether I believe that this vaccine is going to be 100% efficacious or 50% efficacious. Science needs evidence, and that's all one is asking for. That's
okay.
it.
What in conclusion, what are the worries and the risks about pushing something through like this without, as you said, all the evidence?
The worries are that if there is little transparency in how and why it was approved, it impinges upon trust in the population at large. And already in India, you see, although India has never been an anti-vaxxer country, but vaccine hesitancy has been increasing in India, especially in light of the quick development of COVID vaccines. And this will simply add to that mistrust, which is not warranted,
Right.
because India's universal immunization program is one of the best in the world. India's vaccine industry is one of the best in the world. So this is unwarranted, really.
Right.
And my fear is that it will lead to some of that.